Hey everyone, how you guys doing today? So, today was an interesting day. And I'm noticing that people are really out in public when you go to different stores, that they're just walking around like zombies. And I really don't quite understand it, but I notice the people that I'm dealing with, just like I went to the bank today, and I just had a good attitude towards the lady. And I was telling her that anymore that I'm just kind of laughing about things. I mean, and being friendly, super friendly and nice to people. And it seems to be sorry, I'm pulling my shirt out. It's tucked in. Anyway, it's a crapshoot. Most of the time when you're happy and laughing and carrying on, you kind of set the tone with people. And I think people are so afraid to say something or do something, the fact that they're going to piss somebody off. And I'm noticing that a lot when I'm going out, going to stores, doing my shopping. And I used to be kind of like, I'm going to just be reserved and not say anything, not do anything. But if I have interaction with somebody, I'm going to try to make it upbeat. And this time I went to the bank and I got my state refund. Yeah. And I was acting like I was waiting there, and I said, I feel like I'm a 17-year-old getting my state refund of $172. It's like, oh, goody. But, and it kind of set and the lady was laughing. She goes, well, I said, it's always fun to be young again, right? I'm talking about young being, young back in the day when I was young, actually young, not young today, because young today is much different. But I guess my point with this whole thing is, I think if instead of being angry and upset with your life, a lot of people are going through crap, and I get it. And sometimes we don't know what they're going through, and that's why. But if they set the day like that, they wake up in a bad mood, then their day is going to be a bad mood. And so my whole thing right now is I just try to wake up. If I woke up, we're good. And then just say positive thoughts when you get up. And a lot of people say, oh, I got to drink my coffee. Don't blame it on anything else. Blame it on yourself for putting yourself in a good mood. I get so tired of people saying, oh, I got to drink my coffee, or I haven't had my coffee yet. That's just a crutch. If you're happy when you get up first thing in the morning without drinking your coffee, you should be happy. You shouldn't have to have coffee. You shouldn't have, everybody's like, oh, if you're addicted to coffee, that's fine. But don't sit there and use it as an excuse that you're not happy, or, I'm not any good until I have my first cup of coffee, because that's not, what did you do when we don't have coffee? What would you do if there weren't couldn't have any coffee? What are you going to do then? Be in a bad mood and just blame it on you don't have any coffee? And that's the whole thing. It just makes people just want to blame a person, place, or thing, or a situation on them being in a bad place. And it's just like I say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And that's very to the truth as far as you're in control of you. Yes, you're going to have things thrown at you that are uncontrollable, that you can't really control. But you just try to have to fix the things as they come to you. And try to prepare for things that might happen. And I think the biggest thing is your reaction to things is the key to not getting so upset, not getting stressed out, and just evaluate the situation before you react. Because if it's a knee-jerk reaction, it's never going to be a good thing. It's going to be total drama. I know some things are hard to take, but it's just like a couple of years ago, I had a client that was really upset that she's going through a slab leak. Now, mind you, this person is pretty well off, and this is just the most horrible thing. And I'm just thinking, I finally said to her, because she just kept talking to me about it, and it's just a whole horrible, and it's like, I finally said, I went through a slab leak 10 years ago and I had 8 dogs and I had no water in my house. Was I complaining about it? No. I just wanted to work through it and get it fixed so I could have water. And I said, imagine that. I said, you need to put things in perspective. And I said, you have a big, beautiful house that has a slab leak. You're just lucky that you're going through this slab leak. Some people are not even living in a tent underneath the freeway and they have bottled water. Some of them do. And she said afterwards, she said, I'm glad you said something like that. You kind of put me in a place because nobody else would ever say what I said to her. And I said, wasn't trying to be rude or discounting your pain, but it's you're really not going through a lot compared to what other people are going through. And I'm not saying we need to compare or have an excuse like I was saying before, but I think you need to put a lot of things in perspective and just realize that there could be something worse out there. And we are in control of our emotions. And when you make everything emotional, and you don't deal with the stuff at hand in front value, just deal with the facts. If you do deal with it with facts and don't bring the drama and don't act all emotional, your problem will be solved a lot faster if you don't go down that road. And I know it's tough for a lot of people. And it seems like for me, I used to be that way all the time, and I'm starting to go down that emotional thing. But that's just what I think as you get older. I'm not using that as an excuse because I'm aware of that I'm doing it and I'm trying to solve that issue. And I think that's a big thing. You need to solve the issue with you having an issue with going to the emotional side instead of just dealing with the facts. And that's what I'm doing with me. Because a lot of things are affecting me and I'm going to the emotional side when I very rarely did that before. I didn't bring a lot of drama into it. I just dealt with the facts and then solved the problem. And that's basically the way I've handled life. But it seems like now, and I'm, like I said, I'm dealing with it. I'm dealing with every single thing. I start to go to the emotional side and then I stop myself like, oh, no, back up. No, we don't want to go down that path. That's a muddy, dirty path. I want to go down the clean road that's dusty. And I think that's a lot with a lot of people. And I think we are going through a lot. There's a lot of people that are going through a lot of stuff. But I think instead of acting like the victim, I think you really need to just face it head on and try to solve what you can solve and work through that. And I think that's the whole thing. Many years ago, I was told when I was in my 20s, if you have a positive attitude, you're going to get positive results. But if you have a negative attitude, you're going to have negative results. And that's the same thing when you wake up in the morning. If you're waking up, granted, you may have aches and pains and all that other stuff. But if you look past that and try to be positive about it, your day will usually be a pretty good, productive, positive day if you wake up that way. And don't dwell on what happened when you couldn't get a night's sleep and you're tired and blah, blah, blah. That's fine. A lot of people can't sleep at night. But you need to deal with that problem to try to get it to where you can sleep at night. And I think that's a big thing. I think it's all in perspective. And I think if you have a positive outlook, you're going to have a positive day. If you're going to have an issue, that's just my take on this. You let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.